Morning.
Hi, Count. Good morning.
We are at Sydney Cricket Ground for the South Africa Bangladesh team
Yeah.
for the South Africa versus Bangladesh match. Before we start, some of your followers on Twitter were asking for a YouTube link.
Hmm.
They said, on Twitter sometimes the whole thing is buffering a bit. So I
Yeah.
will grab the YouTube link and give it to you. Maybe
Hmm.
you can post it on your Twitter,
Sure. Yeah.
the live feed link, so
Hmm.
that your viewers can watch it on YouTube if they like. Just give me one
Absolutely.
second.
Yeah.
It's not up here on YouTube yet. Yeah, it's live now. Yeah, I've sent you the link, Mal.
Yeah. Done. Let's start.
Awesome. So it's raining in Chennai. Hopefully, things the weather is all clear in Sydney Cricket Ground.
Yeah. It's something we don't get often, so we don't complain.
So Ireland beat England again. Like I was saying, in different circumstances though. Let me share my screen. There is this particular meme of Wasim Jaffer to Mike Atherton. I mean, to Michael Vaughan. I found it really funny.
Yeah, I think I saw it too. Yeah.
Let me
The
bring it up for your viewers.
the trimmer one, right?
Exactly. So that was quite funny.
I'm really not sure if it's just Wasim Jaffer doing it or yes, a team of people who are doing all these for him.
That's not even I think. I think maybe he has a very good team which comes up with these things. But Asim Jafar, I found overall is one of the funniest guys on the social media.
He has to
Because,
be.
Allow
I thought that was really funny. So coming back to our feed. So the other thing is that the funny
Hmm.
part is that the meme, but the bigger issue is it's still spring in Australia.
Hmm.
When they play Ashes starting only from mid-November,
Hmm.
because they don't want any of the Ashes games to be rain affected.
Yeah.
So same reason why when you play Ashes in England, you start in July,
Hmm.
and the summer goes on till September.
Hmm.
I think the conflict the domestic T20 tournaments has with the ICC tournaments is definitely having an impact because Cricket
Hmm.
Australia obviously wants to protect its window for BBL.
Yeah. Maybe it's also because of this World Cup is not supposed to happen in Australia. No, it was moved from last year. It was moved from last year was moved to UAE, and this was moved to Australia. Maybe that has something to do with it as well, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. Hopefully, because these ICC tournaments are so important for the other associate countries, who
Hmm.
toil really hard. They play the qualifying round to come into the Super 12. So in this
Yeah.
case, it's advantage Ireland,
Hmm.
but it could impact them also negatively, right? So it's important that ICC tournaments are played in you know during those blocks of months in the calendar at a country where they're playing, where the weather is clear.
Yeah.
So with that said, let's jump straight into our venue guide.
Hmm.
So let me bring that up on my screen. It should be coming up now. Yeah, so Sydney, talking about Sydney, obvious things are that it's the slowest of all the Australian tracks.
Yeah, it is kind of it could be.
Yeah, and historically spinners have done well,
Mm,
given that it has long straight boundaries. Spinners bowling full.
yeah,
They get some purchase of the wicket in terms of
yeah,
turn,
mm,
and they could be coming into play. For example, in your article, you've spoken about the value of Mehdi Hassan,
yeah,
and again talking about Mehdi Hassan, there was a game. South Africa played, Bangladesh, or South Africa hosted Bangladesh earlier this year.
yeah.
And in Centurion, Mehdi Hassan scored a handful, handy 19 runs, and he also came back. And I remember if he took about 4 wickets.
Mm,
So Mehdi Hassan as an all-round option comes into play. I don't know if Bangladesh would play him. That's one question I have. The other question I
mm.
have is the Centurion track. Is it similar to the Sydney track?
It's not. I think Centurion has a bit more bounce as well. But regarding Mehdi Hassan, I think the last match they bowled 3 overs of Soumya Sarkar and 1 over of Mosaddek Hussain. If they bowl 3 overs of Soumya Sarkar in this game versus these South African batsmen, they are looking at a minimum of 45 runs in those 3 overs. So that's a risk that they cannot take, especially with Shakib Al Hasan bowling to a LHP heavy batting order. So I'll be really surprised if they don't bring in Mehdi Hasan Miraz because he's one of their trump cards today. If there is a way that Bangladesh can get into the game, it's through Mehdi Hasan. So that's one of the changes that we are expecting, and this is a deck that supports his style of bowling as well.
Also, Mehdi Hassan would be more effective because South Africa's top order is packed with left-hand batsmen.
Yeah, not just left-handed batsmen; there are also mediocre players of off-spin bowling. So that's something that could help us as well.
Yeah, QDK does not have a great record against off-spin bowling,
Yeah.
and with these even though he played a blistering knock
Mm,
in the rain-affected game,
mm.
do you expect like how Martin Crowe brought up Deepak Patel in the '92 World Cup? They would even open the bowling with somebody like Mehdi, or with Mosaddek.
Yeah, I think Mehdi will be bowling at least, or Mehdi or Mosaddek, whoever the off spinner that they are going for, will be bowling at least a couple of overs in the power play because the batsman at the other end is Bauma. Teams are not going to be fearful of Bauma, so that's an easy entry for them.
Exactly. It's a good point you make. And also, medium pace bowlers who can take the pace off the ball and bowl
Yeah.
full again can
Hmm.
get some advantage with these long straight boundaries.
This is where Sean Abbott terrorizes teams in the BBL. So that says something. The entire Sydney bowling attack is based on that. They bring in Carlos Braithwaite and they win championships with just his bowling, with Carlos Braithwaite's bowling, who is a batter who can bowl. But in the BBL, he is more effective as a bowler because of this home deck.
Yeah, that's a good point. So do you think somebody like Mustafizur will come into play given his cutters and slower balls and bowling fuller during the
Yeah,
depth?
his form hasn't been great, but this is a deck that where he can come into play. I think he'll be more effective than the other two pacers who have had more success so far. Taskin Ahmed and Hassan Mahmood, they've had more success in traditional pace friendly decks. But on this one, I see Mustafizur coming into play a lot more.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point that Mustafizur could come back into form and have a big impact on today's game. The one improvement that I have done over the last game South Africa played
Hmm.
is to say the name of Andre Nokia right.
Yeah, we have all had troubles with that.
Yeah. So and but unfortunately, I don't think this deck is going to suit express space.
Yeah, this is. I mean, if Bangladesh has to face South Africa at a venue in Australia, if they are given a choice, Sydney is a deck they'll opt for. So that's saying something.
So do you think probably it would be a good option for South Africa Bamuma to bring in Shamsi in the place of Andre Nokia or Lugi Nihiri?
Yeah, I'm expecting that as well because as we have discussed in our tournament preview for South Africa, they're stuck. South Africa is stuck because they see Maharaj as one of their leaders in the team. That's why he played the first game ahead of Shamsi, and you saw how he was ineffective. He was one of the bowlers who didn't have a lot of success in that game. Now it remains to be seen how they bring Shamsi in, whether ahead of Maharaj, whether they let go of the leadership thing and bring him, because Maharaj also has three left-handers to bowl at. So that's not something that they would want at a venue like this. And there is the other option is that Lungi Engidi, even though he's also more of a slow ball specialist these days. I think that's an option they'd love to have in their bowling attack, but it remains to be seen how they bring in Shamsi into the 11. But he should be in the 11, that's for sure.
And also Shakib's bowling may not be very effective, being a
Hmm.
left-hander bowling to left-hand batsman.
Yeah, the entire South African top order will be looking for Shakib's over today. With the other end, they're being choked with off spin, and then the pace bowlers are in form too. So Shakib is a real big target for the likes of Quinton de Kock, Riley Rossouw, and David Miller. Even in general, these are players that don't wait for the death or wait for they don't set in for an onslaught at the death. They just go crazy right from the very beginning.
And this is where I think Shamsi would be a differential, between the teams, being a wrist
Mm,
spinner and
mm,
being long straight boundaries. If South Africa can bat first and put on a
mm,
big score, and the
mm.
average first inning score at the venue has increased over the
It
last
is.
years, and
Mm,
it currently holds about 182
yeah.
in Sydney. So if South Africa does put on a big score,
Mm,
and if Shamsi were to operate in the middle overs,
yeah.
the Bangladesh batsmen might fancy their chances and then get holed out in the deep.
Yeah, Shamsi is also a better bowler to left-handers with this ball, with this stock ball turning away from them. So that's not something that they will find it easy to slog him across the wicket or even straight down the ground. He could beat them on the flight or off the deck. And there is this thing with Australian decks in general. They all favored bowling a little bit more between the 2018 and 2017 and 2019 period, and then even MCG as well. If you could see, the average scores also increased there. Now they have all become better for batting. Maybe they get the space that they got due to the COVID situation that helped them prepare better decks and stuff. But I'm not really sure. But that's the thing. The SCG has become better for batting. Melbourne has become better for batting, although they have left a little bit more grass this World Cup to make it look different than what it normally is. Even Brisbane has a similar trend as well. They've all become much better for batting these days.
And they also made the contest more even compared to the decks in India during IPL. The
Mm.
teams chasing also has an equal amount of win percentage of late.
Yeah, that's something that you can usually find in Australia and England because of the true nature of the decks. The batting teams also trust the deck more. They don't wait. They know that their only way of for out of winning this match is to score 180 or 185, and they don't wait for like really onslaught. They don't wait for the death onslaught. They go straight from the very first over. They start attacking, and the deck helps that too. And the scoreboard pressure then comes into play.
And it's very important if South Africa bats first, they put on a good score, the par score
Mm,
of 180 plus.
mm.
Bangladesh does have some batting depth.
Yeah, I think South Africa will be looking to bat first too because they're not one of those teams that want to chase given their history and everything. They want to bat first and do not have the pressure of the accelerating against the off spinners and just set a score of 180, 185, and it will be job done for them. Yeah, considering Bangladesh's weakest suit is their ball batting unit.
Yeah, and Miller being one of their better left-hand options who can play spin.
Mm,
It's important that he plays himself in and makes himself available for the slog overs,
yeah.
because as against Bangladesh's batting depth, South
Mm,
Africa does not enjoy the batting depth.
yeah. Miller, I mean, Miller against Austin is an interesting case because the killer Miller time, the 2014 to 2015. After that, he didn't have a lot of good years in T20, but even during that period, he has a good record against off spin in terms of protecting his wicket. He doesn't have a great strike rate, but all that matters for left-handers is more of them protecting their wicket and waiting for their targets at the other end. Miller has done that even during his biggest period of struggle. So now that he's in form, it's not something that's going to trouble him a lot.
That's an interesting point you make. So just wanted to take a pause here to check if they're done with the toss
Yeah,
before we proceed to discuss your match notes.
we'll check that.
uh, are they still are they to do the task?
Us and South Africa have chosen to bat first as expected. But I think Pollack hasn't asked for any team changes. This is something I hate at the toss. It's a most important question, and they don't ask that.
Yeah, I think um, some of them have to have a standard set of questions to ask because it's very important from an audience point of view. Some of them miss out on that opportunity,
I think
unfortunately.
Bavuma has confirmed that they have an extra spinner in their side. So that means they have two spinners. So I think no, Ngidi is the one that's gone out.
Yeah, hopefully Shamsi comes in the place of Lungi Mingidi. So as we wait, is Tristan Stubbs' value for South Africa with both bat and the ball?
I think Tristan Stubbs normally will be something someone I'd consider, but because South Africa haven't used him a lot with the ball, they go for Markram for the off spin value, and he has also done a good job. So I think Tristan Stubbs becomes the second option for their part time off spin. So that kind of takes a hit. His value takes a hit in that. So David Miller is more of someone that we could look at.
Interesting point. So let's bring up the cheat sheet of Bangladesh
Hmm.
just in a second as we wait to know the final playing 11 of both the teams.
Shakib has also confirmed that they are going in with an additional spinner. That's
Interesting.
something both the spinners have come in, I guess, as we discussed in our preview.
So most likely it will be Mehdi Hussein coming back into the 11.
Maybe as and yeah,
So I'm just bringing up.
yeah, the team is out. I think
Okay. So
split team.
let's then do the fantasy builder before we come back to the Bangladesh
Yeah.
cheat sheet.
Hmm. Bangladesh have brought in Mehdi Hassan for Yasir Ali, the power hitter down the order. I, and then Shamsi has come in for Lungi Ngidi.
As expected.
There's something that's good these days. Teams are looking more at the deck and going for their playing 11s. This is not something that used to be normal even a couple of years back. They used to look into the winning combination a lot more seriously. And this is good change.
I'm just going to bring up the fantasy builder sheet just in a second.
Mm.
Yeah, so there it is. So if you want to fill that in for our viewers,
Yeah.
as I share the screen
Mm.
and as
Just
you
a
make,
second.
yeah,
Can you share the Google Doc link in the WhatsApp?
sure, I will do that. Have it now.
Yeah.
QDK, Aiden Markram, Kagiso
Yeah.
Rabada,
So
and
those will be our
uprights.
first five South African picks. Parnell is an exceptionally good option to have against left-hand heavy teams. He's a good bowling option against left-handers, so that makes him one of our base picks. Shamsi we have already discussed, another good option against left-handers, and he'll be bowling through the heart of the innings against a side that's likely to chase 180 plus score. Kagis or Rabada is their first choice pacer, and especially with Lungi Ngidi out, he'll also be bowling a couple of overs at the death, which improves his fantasy value, even though he had a poor outing last time. Aiden Markram, I think this is a great opportunity for us to captain Aiden Markram because the South Africa are batting first and his off spin will also be required. Quinton de Kock, there is a threat of the off spin, but if he gets through it, especially with the wicket keeping value, he's a good option to have as well. As far as Bangladesh is concerned, Shakib Al Hasan and Mehdi Hasan Miraz are biggest differential, along with Shamsi. I hope we don't end up playing with one of our viewers as well. So that's one thing.
We're going to see the spinners come into play in Sydney,
Yeah.
and also bowlers like Wayne Parnell.
So
Okay.
this kind of has a negative impact on Masada Kozain's fantasy potential because now Mehdi Hasan will be bowling those off spin overs. That's something we'll have to keep in mind. And so there are a couple of options need to take. I think I'll be going with Mustafizur Rahman because Bangladesh are bowling first. So we'll bring him in into play, and then Leighton Das. That's four. If you can just enter these nine in our app, then we can find the other two players.
Yeah, I'm doing it as we speak. So since we chose QDK already, Litton Das is also on the wicket keeper category. It's not allowing me to choose Litton Das.
Is it okay? Just a second. Maybe because we need batters, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Quinton de Kock. Bowlers, we have Kagiso Rabada, Mustafizur Rahman, Shamsi Nokia, and Shakib Al
Tristan
Hasan.
Stubbs playing today.
Tristan Stubbs is playing today. Yeah. Okay, I think there is a problem because uh, maybe let go of Mustafizur Rahman and bring in. This was a problem even yesterday. The combination was tricky to nail for this game. So David Miller and Afif Hussain and yeah, we'll go. David Miller is the sixth option, and then Afif Hussain, the second best batting option in the specialist batting option in the Bangladesh side, as we discussed in our article. And this is to meet the combination requirement. Mehdi Hasan Miraj, Shakib Al Hasan, Wayne Parnell, Andresh Nokia, and then we'll go with Soumya Sarkar as our last option to meet the combination requirements. So that's 11 players in.
Brilliant. So, just for our viewers who are just listening in and not watching the screen,
Hmm.
let me read the Final Fantasy 11. Al has chosen it's Quinton D. Cock, Aidan Markram, Kagiso Rabada, Tabrais Shamsi, Wayne Parnell, Shakib Al Hassan, Mehdi Hassan, David Miller, Afif Hussain, Andre Norkia, and Shaumia Sarkar. So Soumya Sarkar's batting potential against Wayne Parnell's bowling. Does he have any weakness against?
It's something we are more relying on to get fortunate there, because this match demands that we have three specialist batting options, and the specialist batting options, there aren't many options that we have for this game, because one um, Aiden Riley Russell and then Lytton Das goes under the wicketkeeper category. Aiden Markram goes under the all-rounder category. So this has a serious hit. This leaves us with a serious problems in meeting the combination. So that's one of the reasons why we bring in Soumya Sarkar to get 10 good players instead of 11, like nine good players and have two average players. We are going for 10 good options and then one kind of a subpar option.
Yeah, that makes sense. So given the all-round ability of Mehdi Hussain, should he be our captain or vice captain today?
I think I'll go with Aiden Markham as my captain. And regarding the vice captain, I think we could go for a safer option than Mehdi, because Mehdi already brings in a lot of value for us, even as a pure differential. We do not want to vice cap him and invest too much in him. So that's one thing. And we'll go with Quinton Decock as our vice captain, because there will be a lot of people who will be capping him this game. And in case he comes off, he survives the off spin trap and he comes off, we do not want to lose so many points on that.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So for our viewers and listeners, we are going with Aidan Markram as our captain and Quinton de Kock as our vice captain. So there is our team.
Mm.
So let's get to the interesting part, which is joining
Mm.
contests.
Yeah.
So today I'm just gonna go with exactly what you're gonna recommend,
Mm.
so
We'll,
that
we'll,
we.
we'll go the 1250 league. We'll start with it.
So I do the filter between 1,000 and above,
Mm. And
number
two
of
members.
single entry.
Mm.
Okay, and I can do filter by price pool, and we'll go for the 1,299 one, the one which is on top, which has got just one
Yeah.
spot left.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do that. It's only contest we are joining today.
Mm.
I'm gonna share my screen on the Bangladesh team notes for one quick second, and we're gonna wrap up our call.
Yeah.
It's coming up right now on your screen. So the one of the interesting things I looked at the South Africa team notes is that none of their batsmen has an average of over 20 balls faced
Mm.
per
Mm.
match.
Mm.
This gives an opportunity to the lower order,
Mm.
especially since they have the depth in batting.
Yeah.
So that's a point that I want to discuss, and therefore,
Mm.
somebody like Shaumya Sarkar, who
Mm.
has an average of only 13 balls,
Mm.
but in a track like Sydney, which is
Mm.
slower, should suit his batting style.
Yeah, Samya Sakar is like a he cannot really know what you can expect from him. There are days that he goes like crazy, but there are days that he doesn't do anything. So it's an option. It's like a volatile option to have. And then the problem with Bangladesh's batting averages is because they play a lot of their matches at Dhaka, venue where batting is exceptionally difficult for T20, exceptionally difficult, especially in T20 where the ball is turning. There's always the sharp turn there. The last recent two series that we have had there, Australia, they defeated Australia, I guess, and they also defeated another team as well. So that's something we'll need to take into account. It's not a real reflection of their batting ability. It's more a reflection of where they play most of their matches at.
Yeah, playing against a spin in a track that's aiding spin. Have
Mm,
painful memories of Sri Lanka and India in the '96 semifinals,
yeah.
and even more painful was the 2014 finals
Mm,
where Yuvraj Singh struggled to score 11 runs of 22 balls, and we
yeah,
lost to
yeah,
Sri Lanka in that finals.
yeah. It's
So
not the match that we are expecting to lose. So that we should.
exactly, it really broke my heart. So great. So that's it from our side today. So the next
Mm,
match is also going to be played in Sydney, India,
Sydney.
and Netherlands,
Yeah.
and we will be back for that game
Mm,
by 11:30.
sure.
So till
Yeah.
then, take care and enjoy the game.
Yeah. Bye.
All right, Al. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.